The country that overcame the ugly era of apartheid is feared by some to be sliding back into its dark past. But now it's South Africa's white population that's said to be becoming a victim of racism. RT's Paul Slier investigates.
Kuni Marie is preparing for a genocide against his people. His plans are in place. His community is ready to flee.
We have been planning for 8 years. It started simple. The idea was to give people an option. We've divided the country into 27 provinces and divided those further into groups. Each group has its own plan.
Since 1994, when South Africa elected its first black government with Nelson Mandela at the helm into power, more than 3,000 white farmers are said to have been murdered. Relatives claim finding and prosecuting the culprits has never become a priority of the South African police. When South Africa's President Jacob Zuma sang this song last year, many Afrikaners saw it as another nail in the coffin, sealing their fate. There are some 3 million Afrikaners who live across South Africa, descendants of primarily Northern Europeans who arrived in the country 3 to 4 centuries ago.
Genocide Watch has said that right now we're at the stage, or level 6, where level 7 is when the actual killing starts.
Gustav Muller and his team are afraid level 7 could start any moment. A former intelligence officer in the South African army, it was easy for Gustav to read the warning signs.
We are believers, and in our Bible it says if you notice warning signs, you must convey it. If you don't, you will have blood on your hands.
As head of the movement, Gustav has established a countrywide operation with more than 100 safe areas. The idea is that when the alert is given, people will be notified via SMS. Each will drive to a meeting point from where they will travel in convoy to pre-designated safe areas. One of the main centres is here, in South Africa's 4th oldest town, Afrikaners.
The death of Nelson Mandela is a risk scenario. He's a political icon, and his passing could see violence flaring up again.
From legally sanctioned economic discrimination against whites to the farm murders targeting Afrikaners, the problems are only getting worse. According to the Satelanders, as many as 800,000 white, mostly Afrikaans-speaking South Africans support their movement. Many have already begun collecting blankets and other emergency provisions. Wendy McFarlane is a mother who worries for her son's future. She joined the Satelanders because it gives her some control over a situation she'd otherwise feel powerless about.
If anarchy breaks out, there is a place I can go where I can be safe. I joined to give my son and myself a place to go.
Like their forefathers, the Satelanders vow to fight for their country. And while the South African government is aware of their efforts, it hasn't commented. Paul Slier, RT, Afrikaners, Eastern Cape, South Africa.
And Mbuyiseni Ndozie, a spokesperson for the South African EFF party, says the problem lies in an entirely different area.
At the moment, South Africa is one of the most politically stable countries in the entire world. Take into consideration that we are able to maintain a relative political stability with things that cause wars in other countries. So I don't think that there are any tensions except in the economic sense. The African National Congress government has just merely perpetuated racialized forms of ownership, and they've deepened inequalities, unemployment, and so the idea is to break the type of colonial modes of economic planning and redistribution that privilege white people only.